Good evening, it is the 20th of June 2023 and this is my trade review for today. Overall it was a good day. I finished green, which is very different to my Thursday and Friday last week where I finished red, and today I was a much better trader. I didn't have any FOMO, I didn't do any revenge trading. I may have over traded slightly, but overall it was a good day. So let's go through my trades. So I took one stop out to start the day, which was at this area here. It was in the pre-market, so there wasn't much volume. It was 7 AM, and this is an area I've been watching. It's a previous pivot from last week, and it's a top and tail pivot. And I was expecting it to come back in. I've been watching it for a while because it's bounced here a few times, there, and then it broke through. And I was expecting it to come back in and retest that area for a retracement back down, probably to the low of the day. But I was in profit for a bit, but I had my stop really tight and I stopped out. And that's fine, it wasn't a great deal, it was only one, I think it was 2 contracts and just a very small loss. My next trade was just on the open. I in fact did 2 trades on the open. The first trade, I was watching these topping tails and I saw it bounce off the 20. I thought it was going to bounce again off the, not the 20, I meant the 200 moving average. And I thought it was going to bounce again off the 200. So I got in on this, on that candle, probably a bit early. I was using that as my reference. And I added another one on that topping tail because it looked like it didn't put in a new high. So it's below the 200 and I took profit around about there. So it's a quick scalp, and obviously I left a lot on the table, but that's fine. It was before the market really opened, so then I waited, and obviously this area I was keeping an eye on. It's an hourly area, an hourly resistance or support area, and I got in as it touched that area a little bit higher. I wanted to get in a bit below that, what's it, 4,431, and I was watching it on the 5-minute chart. Got in there, and again I got out probably around about there, which is top of that zone, because I thought it was going to reverse, and it did do exactly that. So I missed the reversal, but I did catch the break and retest. So as the market dropped down, came here, I had an order in waiting for about here, and I got triggered in, and I just ran it down. I think my out was about here. Again, left money on the table. There was a trend line I was watching on the SPY as well, and I think the trend line went up through here somewhere, and it broke through the trend line, and so I used that trend line as my out because I thought it was going to bounce back up, but it didn't break through. So that was the reason I got out early. Still not a bad trade. My best trade is coming up. So I saw these 2 bottom tails on the MES. I saw higher volume, even though it was a big sell-off. We had increasing volume, but then we had the bottom tail, and then we had the second bottom tail with more than above average volume. So I got an entry there, and I got another entry there. So I was in 4 contracts of MES around that area. Again, my best trading last week was when I was adding to trades, and my worst trading last week was when I was adding to losing trades. So today I wrote down on my journal, if it's grinding up, go with a trend. Big moves, go for a rejection, and this was a big move down, so I was going for this rejection area anyway. 44.10 was the area I was watching. So I had 4 contracts on these bottom tails. And as tempted was to take profit, I really wanted to get this area, the break and retest of this zone. So I waited, it pulled back, I added on these 2 bottom tails, I added 2 contracts here. And I sold 2 contracts there on those 2 topping tails, probably a bit below there. So I'm back to my 4 and I'm up, I've got good profit at this point. Then I added again on this pullback. Again, I was watching the volume, so we saw this volume come in. So the pullback, in fact, let me just zoom in because this is quite a good. I'm zooming in. So what I was watching for was for this pullback. I wanted to find a place to add, but I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just putting in a top and it was going to come back down again. I was waiting for basically a buy setup, this area here. So this is where I wanted to add. So I added as the candle broke this candle, but what really confirmed it was this decrease in volume. So the volume was going down as the market was pulling back. So if the volume was increasing, then it would have looked like it was going to be starting a new move back down. But as I was long and I saw the decrease in volume, then I waited, I took my trade there, that was my add, and I took profit there. I only had one contract this time, so I still had 4 as my core, and I was up to 5 contracts here. So I took my profit around here, which was this double top, and then I let things slip a bit because I thought it's a double top. I was expecting to see something to do this, and I saw these 3 red bars, and this topping tail bar made me panic, and I'll explain why I shouldn't have panicked in a second. So what I did is I sold just there, everything. I got out of everything because I thought it was going to reverse, and I thought we were looking at a bull flag. But the moment I sold, I had selling remorse. So I sold 4 contracts. I bought another 2 contracts back. So similar area. I didn't lose much, only the commission. The reason I panicked, the reason I shouldn't have panicked, was this tail that was very low volume, one of the lowest bits of volume for the day, so it's a legitimate pullback. But also this topping tail, if I saw the topping tail here, then it would have been a possible reversal, but it didn't break any highs, and so I panicked on the topping tail, which wasn't even a reversal candle. It was probably just the market makers testing to see if there's any more buyers or sellers, and to see whether they wanted to bring the market back down to sweep up the rest of the buyers, or take the market back up. The sellers I meant, or see if there's any buyers to take the market back up. And I saw that topping tail and I panicked basically. Anyway, back in with 2 contracts here, and I ran it up. I took one out on the VWAP, and my next one I took out on the edge of this box. So this zone's still playing a major role in my trading today. And bear in mind it's a box which I drew last week. And that was it. So I had one more trade. I wasn't going to trade anymore. I was doing well. I was up all day, and I'm now borderline over trading. Probably over trading here. I shouldn't have done 2 lots. But anyway, I took a single contract there, thinking it's going to bounce back down. I reversed this trade, and I stopped out, and I kept it tight. And I tried one more trade about, I think it was here, and I saw it didn't put in a new high. I stopped out again. So that's me done until then. I saw this volume bar, and I saw this topping tail, and it's close to the zone I've been watching as well, 4446. So I went in with 2 contracts only, because again I didn't want to trade much more. So I took one there, and I took one on that topping tail. So my average price was about 443. My target area was the VWAP for the first one, and I finally did get out just there. And then I was waiting for the bottom of this zone again. Again, the zone's still playing a major role in the trading today. That was my next target, but then I realised we could be looking at a bull flag. Let's put these together. And so that's just a straight line. So this is what I was looking at. I was looking at this pattern here, and what I was waiting for it to do. We saw it come up, come down. It was bouncing between these areas, and I thought it looked quite bearish at this point because all of these candles were in the lower half of this bear flag. I was waiting for it to break down, and it didn't. It bounced, so I got out on the edge as it broke out of that flag. But obviously, then it did break down, and the idea was there, but the trade wasn't. It's after market hours as well, so I really want to be closed by then. But still, it was a good profit for a trade I wasn't going to do. It's fairly low risk because it's in a big area of resistance, previous pivot as well, and an area I've already identified. So, and it's also putting in a head and shoulders pattern. So this shoulder, the head, and the right hand shoulder, and the neckline. And so, my out was always going to be the break even. I was only in profit. I don't think I had any negative on this trade. And my out would have been the top of that shoulder, and I moved it down to there, and then eventually I moved it to the break of the bear flag. But still, good day. So one or two red trades, very minor red trades, and two very good green trades, three very good green trades. I'm just going to show you one more thing. So I was looking at this head and shoulders pattern on the 5-minute chart. So look at that. I'll draw the pattern in. So that's the pattern I was watching for, and I was so focused on that pattern. Went until I went onto the hourly chart. And I was out of the trade by that point. I was just reviewing why it never broke down through this area, and it occurred to me that I was looking for a head and shoulders pattern, but probably what was really setting up was this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And I was just focused on these 3 candles here, but probably should have been looking back on the hourly and realised this was a big area of resistance just along here, and that area is was an area of resistance as well, and the shoulders lined up. In fact, it's a perfect, could be setting up to be almost a perfect head and shoulders pattern, but it looks like the market's breaking down a bit now after market. Anyway, just an observation I had. Maybe taking a look at the bigger picture, stepping away from the computer, zooming out on your charts might help reveal patterns which you're not seeing. I'm also quite aware all I've been doing is drawing these 2 pairs of testicles and a ball. Anyway, have a good day trading, or hopefully you had a good day trading, and I will see you tomorrow.